get up there and do something, you know, because no one seems to be doing anything.
Basically got the balls to just like organise, let's go, you know, and off they went.
Il a fait quelque chose de normal, aller chercher des gens qui étaient en perdition, et puis après ça s'est arrêté.
I do occasionally come across people that, you know, kind of mention this Hemming character, you know. He left his mark.
Je suis toujours pour les êtres qui semblent avoir besoin d'être sauvés.
I mean, the Drew was the classic lightning conductor. It was a nasty place. These German guys were just stuck.
Back then it was kind of like, well, the guides took it on. Bad weather stopped them getting up there to save the Germans. And a few of them got like, okay, no, we're going to go.
Suddenly the whole world was focused on it. It was an incredible few days, yeah.
But you had to be capable to climb up there. And that was the difference back then, right?
Something had to happen. To my shame, you know, he asked me to go on it.
On a été trempés depuis le premier jour jusqu'au dernier jour.
Big storms build up, coming very, very fast, right? And so you get wet, you get snowed on, then it clears up, then it gets really cold, then you freeze. They got struck by lightning. You just think, well, each time the next one's going to be the one that's going to kill you.
D'ailleurs, il y avait une équipe qui était à l'épaule, qui était venue par la voie normale. Et cette nuit-là, il y en a un qui a jeté par-dessus le pilier d'humanité, il y a 750 mètres, son pionnier et une radio de l'armée. Le lendemain matin, il s'est retrouvé à côté de lui complètement tordu. Waouh! Voir la force de cet orage.
All that unified effort, people climbing all different faces to try and get to this place to help them. You don't see it anymore, right?
Les guides de Chamonix ont toujours considéré qu'ils étaient les meilleurs au monde. Et ils ne nous aimaient pas, nous les alpinistes qui n'étions pas guides.
On n'a jamais vraiment fait une équipe. Mais c'était par amitié que de temps on allait faire un truc. On a dû faire 5 ou 6 choses ensemble.
Dans la mesure où on faisait des choses plus difficiles.
You know, a lot of things changed, and you had like very ambitious climbers who were, you know, they were really good in their field, and then they transferred that to Chamonix.
J'avais été un des premiers alpinistes français à reconnaître la qualité des alpinistes américains.
Like I've climbed the Drew 3 times, so when you're abseiling down the mountain, you're always thinking, like, God, I'm abseiling down the easiest climb on this route, and the mountain I wouldn't like to climb up it because it just looks horrible.
And psychologically, for everybody involved, it was quite a big step forward, I think, that, you know.
Yeah.
And the idea of solidarity amongst those climbers to get together to go and do it.
Yeah.
Something's got to be done, so let's get moving. So we're just talking about it.
Parce qu'on avait pris le meilleur système pour aller chercher, c'est par où ils étaient montés. Par la voie normale, à l'époque, c'était pas possible de descendre du haut. C'était beaucoup trop aléatoire, il y avait peu de chances de réussir. Et par la face nord, ils étaient bloqués à la sortie sur la face ouest. On avait envoyé des gens dont le chef a dit, Franco, c'était lui, vous donne l'ordre de nous remettre les Allemands. Et on n'a pas accepté parce que par où on descendait, c'était tout droit. On les a descendus vraiment comme des sacs, ils étaient au bout du rouleau. Et par la face nord, il y a des traversées. Non seulement les deux seraient morts, parce qu'ils étaient vraiment pas à l'agonie, mais presque. Et parmi les sauveteurs, il y en aurait qui seraient morts aussi.
Et voilà l'arrivée de Monsieur Hemming. Monsieur Hemming le Grand.
I can remember him both as the person I first met back in 1958, when he was still quite a clean-cut young American. Many years later, after the Drew rescue, he'd become very famous, the French had taken him to their hearts.
Que cette publicité sur un acte de générosité l'a gêné.
Il ne grimpait pas pour la gloire, il ne grimpait pas pour l'argent, il grimpait pour se faire plaisir. Et son plaisir, c'était aussi les amis, la vie.
He had fame, potentially fortune, the interest of a nation. I mean, like amazing apparently. You know, it was like a real icon. He insisted on living in a very sort of like impoverished lifestyle, very real.
Yeah, he was elusive. Yeah, I mean, you never knew where he was staying. You know, he sort of would disappear into the night. You never knew quite where he'd come from or where he went to.
To adopt a foreigner, it's got to be really heartfelt, really have a lot of like import. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he obviously had that. This guy, right?
It was a very fairly small circle of people who met all the time, and you all went to the same places. You know, the Bar Nasht was where everyone met, and Gary was a very impressive figure.
But he had the stamp, the typical hallmark of the anti-hero.
The myth has been created by his own personality and his own character.
Ah, moi, ce qui m'a intéressé chez lui, je vous l'ai dit tout à l'heure, c'est un type intelligent.
He didn't have a lot to say, but what he said was always very sort of, pertinent.
Mais en plus, il avait une très grande culture.
Donc il lisait les philosophes et aussi les poètes. Oui, il était déjà un petit peu plus âgé que nous aussi. Donc il avait découvert une forme de sagesse, je pense.
So he had an intro, right? He caught the imagination. So he was like knocking around in Paris with all these people, all the people that counted, at the same time like bumming in Chamonix, like a climbing bum. So totally odds. And that fascinates me, right?
Bon, maintenant, le fait qu'il ne buvait pas, il était aux amphétamines et au LSD, et il savait qu'il pouvait être très violent.
And I think it had got a bit to his head, and he was very much, the kind of the Beatnik American.
I can imagine being like Hemming, sure, being a foreigner in Chamonix, which I am as well. But I mean, you climb, you do your thing, and you do it with balls, guts, and all the rest of it. And like apparently he did, right? Because he left his mark. Don't forget, right? He left a load of roots as well.
I climbed with him not long before he left Chamonix and went back to America. Yeah. When he was actually a little bit in a decline, I would say. You know.
He wasn't a happy guy. He wasn't happy in himself.
He became literally a cult figure. You know, and he was the Beatnik, you know.
Right. Yeah. And he fitted the role, right? He was your archetypal Beatnik poet who happened to go climbing and wandered around the streets of Cham barefoot and all that sort of thing, right? So the legends that I've grown up with in Chamonix, right?
The days of these great characters, like red-blooded, blood and guts, climbers, do-or-die climbers, is gone really.
He was a myth or a legend in his own lifetime, and the tragic suicide, if you like, just underlined and strengthened that particular myth.
Cette image des héros, tu vois, qu'ils ont construit sur moi, qu'ils ont fabriqué sur moi, c'est faux, tu vois. C'est pas... tout le monde sont un héros un jour et...